These are the issues that are captivating parents today. Here to break them down for us is Dannielle Miller, Troy Jones and Lisa Hensley. Good morning, guys. First up, students could start school at 8 a.m. and finish by lunchtime under plans to make most of children's ability to learn better. Well, their ability to learn is better in the mornings. But this will actually benefit the kids, but how will it affect working mums? This is already happening at Maryland's East Public School here in Sydney. So what do we think, Dannielle?
Well, I think for little children, starting early in the day would be a great thing because they'll be all bright and fresh.
Well, they're up at 5 or 4 anyway.
They are. Once they reach high school, of course, the reverse happens, and we know that teenagers are very sleepy in the mornings. I do worry about how this might impact on working families. I personally wouldn't be able to handle the logistics of having a child coming home for lunch. It sounds a little bit like it might be better suited to sort of the 50s. In terms of learning, it's a good thing. In terms of the logistics, not so sure how it would work.
Troy, I think this sounds like a great thing if you're a kid. Get home by lunchtime.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm all for this. I'm literally, I think this goes to the heart of most of the issues we face at the moment. I think the reality is that it's a bit about slack parenting that says, the point of school, as a nation, we spend billions of dollars on school, and for us to say, oh, it's a bit hard for me to get up in the morning and logistically traffic, I just think it's complete crock. And we've got to put our kids first. We've got to find out what is the way that our kids learn best, and we've got to do that system. If we're living with a system that's B grade because we're, you know, a bit behind.
It's not about being slack parenting. The realities are you need to work to have an income. So it's not slack parenting. It's not that mums are doing their nails and off
but as a system, for us
playing
to say,
tennis.
No, but for us, as a system, we say it's not an optimal system for our kids, and we'll live with it because it's not as important as what I do. I think we've got it backwards. I think we've got to get our work to work around what's best for our kids.
Well, maybe we could all do it, but a lot of us are working 2 jobs to pay for these schools. Lisa, what do you think?
Oh, I'm just listening to Troy thinking, I can hear the housewives at home watching the show going, we hate you.
Yeah.
We hate you. Oh, my God.
They don't. You're adorable.
No,
sometimes the mouth.
Look, you know what? There's arguments for both sides, but I cannot. Just reading that today, I was driving here, listening to it on the radio, and I thought, if anyone could have been in my home this morning, seeing what it was like just to get out the door by 8:30...
Yeah.
I think Daddy's got a point that, you know, the trouble is you've got high school and primary school needing different things. I honestly don't know.
Bring it.
I don't know.
Bring it. Let's
He
do
wants
it.
to bring on. All right, next. This is quite horrifying. A new form of baby yoga that has caused quite a storm. The exercise aimed to help with muscle development has babies being swung around by their arms and legs. We can't show you all the photos. It's just too much. I couldn't take it when I was looking at them before. Is this acceptable or is this child abuse? Lisa, you got a bit of a giggle on going there, but look at this poor little kid. Look, and let me tell you this, some of the kids have come out of this, guys, and they've been vomiting, they've been crying. I mean, really.
How do you know, David?
I read an article.
Listen, it's really clear to me.
On the interweb.
It's really clear to me. If you look at those photos, this is not about the baby. That poor woman can't afford to buy weights. So she's just picked up a little baby on the thing and she's just thinking,
how about
that's
what about just a gentle bench press, though? You don't have to swing it around. Troy,
this is classic dad in the swimming pool behaviour. I think the way that you define yourself as a good dad is how well you can chuck your kid around in the swimming pool.
Totally.
And how high and how far and how many times you can spin them and stuff.
You know a dad
not
would never
babies.
do a new ball.
No, I think that's completely out of order.
And if you're in a pool and they land, there's a soft ending. There's no happy ending there.
Can we say this to all the people at home? Seriously, please don't try this at home because the look on that baby's face is not a happy camper.
That could easily be like, if you could have 2 women like that, 2 nutcases from Russia doing that kind of thing, you could totally have like a synchronised baby yoga at the Olympics.
She's not Russian.
But yeah, she is Russian, and apparently it's an old thing that they brought that she's trying to revive. I find, look, I still can't look. I mean, yeah, we may laugh a little bit, but I just can't think. It's just too much.
More to the point, why do we need
shaken baby syndrome and stuff like that?
to fast track everything anyway? Why do we need to have them supple and toned as babies? Why do we need to fast track? Let them be babies. Let them goo goo, gaga, learn, love, be cuddled. They don't need to be doing yoga and.
I say we have to go back to Sting and ask the questions. Do the Russians love their children too? Finally. Kids love nothing more than playing make-believe games, pretending to be fairies, pirates, superheroes, whatever. But what do you do when they incorporate evil characters from history like Hitler? And this is exactly what happened to one mum after her children had read The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. And she said here, you know, they were doing all this other stuff. Today, she asked the kids what they're doing. They said, today we're being Jews running from Hitler. We found a pit full of bodies, but some kids were alive and we rescued them. Oh, how does this make you feel?
The reality is, particularly in this online world, our children are going to be exposed to more and more adult content. concepts. We need to be realistic about that. And in fact, the research clearly shows that role play is one way in which children do process difficult concepts. So the fact that they're role playing, that probably shows they're trying to process it. As adults, I know our natural instinct is to be horrified and shut it down. We probably need to open up the dialogue and help them process it.
Should we protect kids though, mate?
Yeah, look, absolutely. But I think what the problem is, we
try.
underestimate our kids. We underestimate the ability they've got to work things out. My kid, my 6-year-old, for a long time has had a lot of questions about death and God and dying and stuff. And I think I completely agree with Dannielle, is if you shut it down and freak out and, well, let's talk about chocolate cake, you know, instead, they're left with the question, and they're also left with the idea of, I can't talk to Dad about this because he's not cool with it.
Well, what do you think, Liz?
I don't know. I think a lot about this because when my brother passed away a few years ago, my little ones were very little, so we had to make the decision how much to tell them. And I think we've got to remember that children get anxiety as well. And I don't think you ever lie to a child, but I think you've got to be very age appropriate with what you say to them. So my little boy, some neighbour ended up telling him that my brother had died of cancer. So then we had to go into a whole thing with a 4-year-old about that, which is... You're treading a fine line, you know. I think it's a very, very tricky question, that one.
I say we just chuck them around our heads like the Russians would.
So you're pro the chucking now, David.
No, look, let us know what you think about this. Would you cope with school finished at lunchtime? Email us at mornings@9.com.au or go onto our Facebook page, like us and leave a message there. Thanks, guys.
About Troy.
Yeah, Troy. All the hate mail can go to Troy there. Now here's Janie with a different sort of routine for your fitness. Doesn't involve the child, I think.